Boom. We ain't messing around. Oh, hey, James. So guys, this is it. I went on a small shopping spree. Pretty much the SP track bike starter kit. And it is about to go on this bad boy. Now I've got these two sat side by side because Sean is also joining me in converting his bike to a track bike. However, he rode his bike down and forgot to bring the fairings. Okay, let's start over here. So we've got the AMC carbon swing arm and frame covers. Up here, Power Bronze double bubble tinted screen. Stomp grip pads, because they're the greatest grip pads. We've got swing arm protectors, a yoke cover, frivolous, but I like it. Fork protectors, engine case covers for both sides, actual frame protectors, Pro Bolt black bolts. All the bolts will go black, but I haven't got the rest of them, so, you know, use your imagination. Swing arm, the cotton reels, tank protector for scratchies. That in that box is actually a tail tidy. I need a tail tidy because mine's gonna stay as a road / track bike. Sean is actually just wiping his out completely. Then we got Scorpion exhaust. I went for the Scorpion Circuit exhaust. Funnily enough, even though Scorpion is a British company, if you go onto their website, you will not actually find what decibels that blows on a noise reading. So that's gonna be great on the first track day. And then over here, you have the full set, and I mean full set, of Altmart, I think that's how you pronounce it, ABS plastic fairings. This is going to be interesting because Sean and I went for different fairing brands, but I'm adamant they're all the same brand. Well, they all come from the same manufacturer. So the SP2 is going to have a set of monster fairings. So it'll be really interesting to do a side-by-side comparison on quality and fit once they're actually fitted on. Right, so a lot of this is going to be improvised because I've never done it, but I do have a sort of internal time of events here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the side fairings off, and I'm going to take the seat off, and we're going to start with the carbon covers. The reason I'm going to do that is because I'm putting a new exhaust on anyway, so a lot of stuff has to come off to be able to get to the swing arm, so you can put it on nicely, including things like your foot pegs. So I'm going to do them first so that one can start curing whilst I'm doing other stuff, and that kind of just gets that bit out of the way. Points to mention when removing the stock exhaust, it obviously has the old valve in there, doesn't it? Which is attached to cables, which is attached to a servo that sits under the seat. Now, Sean's SP2 has already had an aftermarket exhaust put on, and based on how they've done it, those are the cables. So they've literally just disconnected from the valve and cable tied it up. I've also seen people disconnect the cables from the servo. So I kind of want to do it that way because the cleaner way, and I hope that you don't actually need an eliminator if you do it that way. It's already just guesswork at this point, but I really want to get stuck in. I'm so excited! We're taking the front hugger off because there's two screws that retain the side bearings, and I don't want to smash that with a screwdriver. I like undoing things because it's the easy bit. It's putting this back together. No scratching, no scratching. I don't trust these. Boy, everything is easy if you don't get precious about things like I do. You laugh, but it worked. That was a ball ache. I've never spent that much time just trying to take a fucking front hugger off. Bastard. Like, what? It's this bit. No. Not cool. Like, that's not gonna squeeze in that little gap. But it did.
Oh!
Alright, now for the whole reason that I actually took the hugger off in the first place, there's poppers behind here. There's like the poppers that
Use the force.
Oh, Phillips screwdrivers. These things. There you go. Come on. Quick. So I've undone all the bolts and missed one! There's 2 on each side. They lied. There's a lot more screws than they mentioned in the tutorial that I watched. This is why I don't do tutorials. There's so much pressure on you. There's 3. 1 there, 1 down there. I don't know if there was a faster way to do that, but you got 3, so you need a mate. So this is an interesting one. 2017 bike sees bolt. It goes into a rubber washer at the back, that like grommet thing at the back that's actually threaded, and that's what holds it in. But it's actually rusted and seized, so I don't really want to hack at it because it's so close to the header, so I might actually just do all of this in one go. Here's the theory behind my idea. This is all going to come off here. Then James is going to help me just rotate it round and under, and then we can tackle that bolt with it off. My other CBR is like 11 years old. Better looking bolts than this. Bullshit. Look, this is the one that is stuck. So you see what I mean? It's threaded. That's where your bolt holds into. Jammed. Usually it's a lot easier to understand how something comes apart when you've retrospectively gone back after taking it apart. So the bits that might catch you up, that bit there, which is this section here, is a popper that goes into there. So you're propping it up off the popper, but then in here, you've got a slider that sits there. So not only do you have to sort of lift that up, you then move everything forward and it'll all just rotate off here. But then following on from that, by this point you would have undone this screw and this screw. This is actually hidden behind this little trim bit there. So it helps if you've got a buddy or a wonderful other half that can hold it in place and just take that off. That is the way that I've done it. There might be an easier way, but you know, we're just learning as we go along. Of course, my belly pad is off because I had to take it all off in one piece. So simplistic, don't even need to explain that. It's like 2, 3 bolts. And then slide it under. You do not need to split it in half. Right, let's have a look under here. Any money? Leftover wallet? No, nothing. Well, I told you, when I bought my black FD, I found a thing that had 20 quid in it. So just taking the seat off, it's super simple. That you just lift up these wonderful little bits. Wish I painted my nails before this. Now, you just go, wee! There's 2 little things that hook in there for
2 little things.
When you pop it back in. What did I just say about washers?
Bolts! Washers!
I'm actually going to put these back in because I'll lose them. Right, we're going to take this little thing off, and that is going to expose our stupid servo that should never have been a thing in the first place. And the play ball? Yeah. There. This. Bugger off. I don't know what to do from now on, but... So I've decided I'm going to disassemble the rear seat section. I'm taking this all off because, of course, I'm putting new fairings on the back and also getting that tow hook off the back. Stupid number plate holder. That is just the ugliest number plate holder I've ever seen. So thus far I've ascertained that it is these 4 bolts here and 2 little Phillips screws there. I'm going to take those out and see what happens. Next bit, we have to take this little underbelly off. By the looks of it, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts there. These are going to have to come out, I know, because this under tray is going to have to come out, but the other 2 bolts I've just seen are under here, so you're going to be taking the key lock bit out as well, which is a 10mm, which I have there. Sweet. Okay, let's attack these first. Nah, pop back in. Right, we want to get that one. There we go. I know there is one at the back. This one will catch you off guard. There is a slidey thing in there. Oh, there we go. And that's the back one. Right, that's your lock thing.
Lock thing.
And there is the 2 other Phillips that you need to undo. This is in relation to the under tray. You've got 2 Phillips things here as well. So these are poppers, by the way. So like just for people who maybe have not dealt with these, you undo them with a Phillips screwdriver. However, if they just keep rotating on themselves, I'd actually just put my nail behind it and start turning with the other hand, and you just got to force it down a little bit and it'll just pop out. Okay, I did something and something else happened.
Whoa.
Those 2, the 2 little under tray Phillips things, so I undid those and I just jiggled this. You have to sort of make sure you hold the tail light, and then it just pops around like that. I'm actually going to just disconnect the tail light because I don't want it flopping around, but it is going back in. which is just one thing. Oh yeah, look, wee!
Hey-o.
Hey.
Woo!
Right.
Another bit off. Oh, crap. Ah, what the fuck are you? Ah! Oh no,
Come up here, it's fine.
damn it.
Okay, we're gonna do this now because I cannot wait for this thing to come off. So, have at it. If you were doing a tail tidy conversion, you would be undoing. Well, I undid the tail light. I don't know if that's necessary. Your wiring runs down the sides here, which is beautifully seamless, by the way. You would not actually know that wiring runs down there, but it's basically this plug. And then you've got a little blue one, a little orange one there, and then you got your 4 bolts up here, which are just inside. All of this faff for that, and you're only taking the fairing section off because of this, which I didn't design it, but yeah, that's effectively it. To get this off, those 4 bolts, these wires, done. Yeah, they were lifty ones. There we go, sorted. I've waited 2 weeks for this to happen. Remember when that had a, which one is it? That one had a stock tail tidy, and all my friends said I couldn't play with them because it was too ugly. Because I'm always in front and they have to follow me. The moment we've all been waiting for.
4 bolts out. Woohoo! Goodbye. Get in the bin.
In the bin you go. ugly thing. Right, this is my new little tail tidy. I went for the cheapy one off eBay. It's like 38 quid. I'm not buying an orangey one just for a bike that I'm going to occasionally use on the road. So this should do. The quality of it is actually pretty damn good. It's called JTech, or it's being sold by JTech. I think it's called a KOSO. Yeah, KOSO. KOSO. So I have to go and type in all of this. Why wouldn't you just hear the title? We've assembled this to what we think it should look like. There is no YouTube tutorial on this one. Review of the KOSO tail tidy. It's okay, but no.
All right, your tail is looking tidy.
I don't get this.
What's next? Oh God.
You got it's like 50-50. You got a black wire and a red wire, and these are both black.
Oh, well.
I mean, I'm sure
I guess,
someone watching this, they're going, "It's this one, you asshole."
You're feeling lucky, punk.
No, so unlucky. Right, I've just mopped it up. And just slut.
So.
Please don't throw light on the dash.
Uh-oh.
Ready?
Yes. Left.
Yeah.
Nice. And right. Ah! Yeah! Look at that. How good's that? Brake goes. Yeah. Brake's on.
Is that working? And that works.
Yeah. How good's that?
Oh, look.
We did it. High five. High five. Yeah.
We can all go home.
Woohoo! Bye everyone. Time to go. Bye. You haven't got your crash protection. Oh no! Wait. It looks like there's still more to do. What?
We kept procrastinating and requiring food.
Lovely. We're gonna be here all night.
I've got to detail that now.
What the?
We're going to move on to the exhaust now. So under here looks like a little safety hatch for the servo. So I'm going to undo that first and just see what happens. Okay, I've managed to get to this point with minimal effort. So as I said, your servo motor sits in there. All you had to do was just undo the one little screw that was in here. I undid that one just because. And it releases a flap that sits under here. You kind of got to jiggle it. It sits on a slight edge. In fact, it is this thing here. So I've just seen down by the foot peg, there is actually a bracket that sits behind that. And I believe the cables are attached to that bracket. So I'm going to take out these bolts and that one and see what happens. In theory, like, I'm putting carbon protectors on this, that, and the other, so I can just take the whole thing off, but we'll do it incrementally anyway. Right, okay, we're getting very action cam here. So the 2 bolts that sit here look like this. The top one has that little washer, and please remember that out in the back there are 10mm nuts. If you just go to try and turn the Allen key heads, it's not going to do any good, so you've got to get a spanner back there. And just to show you the bracket I was talking about, so that, what's out the way, it's this black bracket at the back here where the lines are attached to. Bracket removed, cables free to do whatever the they want. And that is where they end up, in that monstrosity there. So we are now in the latter stages of removing this. Undo that little one down there. Undo this big bad boy. And hopefully it comes straight off. Boom. And that is how it's done, bitches. Do you know how badly I want to start this bike without an exhaust? But it is nearly 10 p.m. on a Sunday, so I'll save it for another day, because I'm not putting the exhaust on straight away, because as I said at the beginning, although the beginning of this video seems so long ago, we are putting carbon covers on. So I'm gonna wipe these guys down with a little bit of panel wipe, maybe a brake cleaner. I'm just gonna actually double-sided tape those on. I'm not gonna glue them. The frames, they're gonna get siliconed, but these, I think double-sided tape will suffice. If you think about it, this one, the exhaust is gonna get hit before that will, and the other one is actually in two places retained by bolts. So we will go for tape on those. Right, let's get cracking. If you don't end up with this much carnage, you're doing it wrong. These wires at the bottom here, and this little brake hose, they have to get dropped down. That is 2 Allen key bolts. And you know this thing we've just completely disassembled? Do the opposite, reassemble it, and then take off those 2. That's gonna give you max clearance to get to behind there, because the frame protector finishes around here. So once you've done those bolts and all this faff, thoroughly clean, mega clean. Brake cleaner, degreaser, something like that. Don't use thinners, that's just stupid. And then we're gonna actually move on to applying the double-sided tape onto the covers itself. This is Gorilla permanent tape, apparently. Nothing's permanent. Nothing's permanent. I put it in like minimal doses in relative places where I knew there were high spots, so it shouldn't actually make the whole thing so proud. And I've done it in like places where it's kind of away from the bolts, because I mean, it's going to be reinforced there, it's going to be reinforced there, and it's going to be reinforced there. So you just don't want it to be top heavy. So I've put some there and some there. Should be okay there. So I've literally just pulled that out of the way, so it'll just glide in there nice and easy. And I've also made a start on the other side. So basically you're just taking off the chain guard. The chain guard sits there, and there's one there, and then you just pop the, that's actually a proper bolt that comes out there. Ignore this guy. Look, what's the point? I've loosened it, it's a 10 mil. It can't go anywhere. So I've just loosened it off so it can raise. And again, good old buddy cable ties here, raising it up because I've got to try and get the carbon thing to slide behind there. So it's gonna be interesting. Right, so I'm gonna start whacking these things on. We'll see how this turns out. Whew, and that's what we got. So it's all just held in with tape. That ain't going anywhere. There are a couple of spots where you can hear a little bit of movement where there isn't tape, but also I'm kind of thinking, unless you're completely sealing it with sealant, you kind of want somewhere that water can sort of run through when you wash it. I'm not riding in the rain, but I do wash my bikes profusely. So I've attached one of the little cont rails there. Remember, with anything to do with tape, it responds to heat and it responds to pressure. So I've actually got my my heat gun here, and I've literally just been warming it a lot up and just putting pressure along it with the rag like this, and just dabbing on that carbon. So yeah, now I'm gonna swing around to the other side. I'll put all this back together. Oh, it's starting to get tired, guys. One point to mention, it depends on which swing arm protectors you get. Underside here, you see where I've flattened this tab? That was actually pointing upwards. There is recesses in the swing arm itself that those sit into, and that's so it retains position. These covers didn't accommodate for that, so I've literally just flattened them out. Don't cut them off, because if you're going to sell the bike in the future and you want to take the covers off, then you want to just be able to bend it back up and off you go. Back to factory. All right, so update. And I will admit we are quite a few hours forward. I had to crack on and do some work. It's currently 2:25 in the morning, so I should really go home. But I have fitted the carbon cover on this side as well. It's all looking all fancy. Again, super simple to fit, and a lot of the bolts that hold in the chain guard, etc., they are actually used as retainers for carbon covers. I have put tape in all relevant places as well, so they ain't going anywhere. Got my cotton reel on the side, and I've also done the swing arm protectors. The swing arm protectors are so basic to fit that I just did it off camera. It'll be self-explanatory when you guys get yourself a set. And then, I did a couple more bits, again, off camera. Look at this. Got my exhaust on there. Really, really easy to fit. And in fact, Scorpion gives such good directions for fitment that it's so self-explanatory. So I just cracked on with that. But the one thing I will say is it does have this OEM gasket around the pipe underneath here. You have to take that off to get that pipe on. Otherwise, it will not fit. And anybody who has this exhaust that's looking to fit it to their Fireblade, just remember which way that L-shaped bracket goes and you will be solid. But other than that, oh, actually, also Scorpion do give directions on how to remove the servo motor cables as well, which is kind of cool, but I'll explain it to you anyway. So once you've got the exhaust off, which exhaust was so easy to take off, go behind these two 8mm, you'll find these cables. They've got a little 10mm nut there. Basically, undo it and then pull the cables up. Happy days. So what I'm going to do is put the servo motor back in, plug it in, and hopefully the bike just thinks that the cables are still there and operates without throwing lights up. Otherwise, I'll look into an eliminator. So yeah, I'm going to throw that back in now, and I think we're going to call it a day. We've got a lot of stuff crammed in. I'm happy with the progress. This has been an experience. Like I said at the start, this is not a tutorial. You've literally just come on this journey with me. I'm very excited to see the transformation at the end. And look, if you guys have a Fireblade and I've added value in any way, then that is absolutely great to hear. So yeah, guys, next one. We'll get this one finished off and see what she looks like. But I am not going to leave you guys on a cliffhanger. I will fire up this exhaust in the morning. I can't now because there are neighbors here at work. I'll fire it up with the baffle in and the baffle out and compare it to the OEM just for reference. I may not be the fastest rider, but I am sure as hell going to have the prettiest bike in the pits.